Hello and welcome. We're at MoneyLive Summit 2023. I'm Claire Woofenden at the Fintech Times and I'm delighted this morning to be joined by Paul O'Carroll from ForgeRock. Hello, welcome. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks Claire. Hello, I'm Paul O'Carroll from ForgeRock. In between trying to be a husband and a father of three and an owner of 2 horses, I'm also responsible for financial services in the UK and Ireland. So we serve retail banks, insurance companies, pension organisations and investment companies, helping them to deliver great customer experiences.
Fantastic. Well, I think I'd like to start there really to learn a bit more about ForgeRock and some of the challenges that your customers are facing.
Sure. So ForgeRock's focus is around making customer journeys and broker journeys as simple and as secure as possible. So it's about all the elements of a digital experience. So from registration through security, privacy and consent, and it's about making sure that experience is consistently superb across all channels and all lines of business. So if you have a relationship with an insurance company and you've got car insurance with them, and then you want to purchase travel insurance or life insurance or health insurance, or you even want to go to one of their third-party providers for some financial advice, you never have to log in again. So your registration details follow you, and that journey is as simple as possible, whether it's over app or mobile, whether you're in the call center, whether you're going through your own channel like WhatsApp. It's about making that journey as simple as possible, but also it's about making sure that behind the scenes, security is absolutely rock solid without you feeling that level of friction. So we look at taking multiple data sources, whether it's from within an organization or external parties, to assess the risk at that point in time for that journey. And it's about determining what level of security do we need to apply. Now, in most cases, we're dealing with genuine people, good actors, so the security should be light, unless there's some regulatory requirement for AML or KYC. But there is a lot of activity around bad actors. There's a massive increase in account takeover, and we need to protect people's data. We need to protect fraudulent behavior. So our focus is also about detecting when there's some anomalies and then applying friction or security appropriately.
Fantastic. I think that's something interesting you said there, because fraudsters are getting smarter, regulations are constantly changing. How can companies, such as all the ones that we've got here at MoneyLive, stay innovative when there's that much pressure to kind of react to all that?
Great question. It is sometimes a cat and mouse game with the bad actors. And the good news is that financial companies have a huge amount of data about a user. So they can make assessments in terms of, is the behavior usual? Is it usual in terms of, are we seeing a known device? Are we seeing a known geography, a known IP address? Is the customer doing things which are standard patterns to that customer and the cohort of customers that they're in? But then we can start to ingest external data. We can see if the customer's credentials have been compromised in data leaks. We can see if they've changed their password recently. We can also look at the device they're using and the IP address to see if any of that material has come up in any other fraud patterns previously. So we can crunch all of that data and use AI and ML to create a risk score, and that risk score can then determine at that point in time, what do we need to do to make sure this transaction or this interaction is secure?
So yeah, there's been huge growth in hybrid workforces and change the way that people are working at the moment. With that increases the number of digital identities that people have to manage. How is it possible to stay on top of all of that?
Good question. So I think what we're seeing now is a trend where as an employee, you almost kind of want the same experience as an employee as if you're a customer shopping for goods and services. And we're seeing organizations differentiate this by delivering better online experiences to their employees. So, whether an employee is in an office or working from home or working from a cafe, the organization can determine risk. So, for example, working at home is most likely less risky than if we're working in a cafe. So if an employee starts working at home and then migrates to finish the Zoom call in a cafe, organizations can see that change of IP address, can see the employee moving to a public IP, And if the employee is viewing sensitive data that might be okay at home or in an office, but in a coffee shop, in a public area, somebody might be looking over the shoulder, the company can actually redact some very sensitive information so it's not shown on the user screen in a coffee shop. So if anyone's looking over the shoulder, they won't see that private information.
Quite like that idea. Let's talk about open finance and ForgeRock's work there. How can digital identity help customers manage their users and customers' experience?
So there's kind of a view among the analysts that the best-in-class retail banks are creating an ecosystem where they're providing their services and products, but also the services and products of other organizations. And one of the most critical elements there is, first of all, identifying that the customer is who they say they are, and doing that robustly. But secondly, giving the customer a way to manage how their data is shared. So it's really important that we give the customers confidence that they've got control over their data. So I may have a relationship with my pensions company, but I may want my pensions data to be shared with a regulated advisor, but I may only want a certain element of my portfolio to be shared with the advisor, and only for 2 weeks. So as a customer, I should be able to have that fine-grained control over that consent. And that's essentially what identity provides. Identity provides that level of security, that I am who I say I am, but also identity provides that level of assurance in terms of how my data is used. And I'm not talking about, I'll give a company the right to market to me. I'm talking about that fine-grained use case in terms of, yes, I'm happy for my financial data to be shared around for my benefit.
I guess it's more about keeping things more personalised for someone while still protecting their identity as well.
Yes.
We're here at MoneyLive. It's all about setting the future agenda of payments and banking. What's your thoughts for 2023 and what we can expect to see?
Well, I'm really excited about, if you look at open banking, they've achieved 7 million users. That growth trajectory is going to increase. We've got the innovations in terms of open finance and the pensions dashboard. So I'm really excited that as a citizen, I think I'm going to have more data available to me faster to have a better view of my kind of financial position. I love the fact that I can very simply pay bills like my tax bill, that I can pay it through open banking. A very simple, and very safe way to make sure that there's no fraud. So through gov.uk or through HMRC, I was able to pay my small tax bill very simply. I think the future, it's really exciting because there are companies now where how you hold your telephone and how you type in your email address creates a risk score, because I type my email address in a certain way. If you type my email address, it will be in a different way to the way I do it. That creates a risk score. So I think we're getting a lot more signals that can be used to combat fraud. And there are some very smart fintechs that I'm sure are going to do gait analysis. So the way you walk creates a fingerprint. That is another feed to create a risk score that I am who I say I am. So I think that whilst the bad actors are constantly innovating, I think that there are some very smart people who are going to help us, reduce fraud, and in combination with all of the kind of innovation around open finance and the pensions dashboard.
It's very reassuring to know that someone's going to know that if I walk a bit funny, that it's not me. But thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today.
Likewise.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for your time. Thanks a lot.